Hi, Berry Bunch. Welcome back. Thank you guys so much for watching. Um, it's been a little bit since I've released a video. I'm sure you guys are well aware. And for that, I'm sorry. This video that I'm doing currently, I've been sitting on for some time, and I kind of finally figured out how it is that I want to do it. So, in case you guys didn't watch my first video that I posted on the Smith family, I kind of mentioned that this channel is going to be about politics, true crime, a bit of celebrity, and influencer readings as well. But I'd like to kind of dive more into the political, geopolitical, and the true crime readings, as those are my primary interest here. Now, there is one specific case that I'm starting with, and this has been quote solved, although I don't think that the ruling was correct. But before I get into anything, I want to make sure that I state, as you can also see on the screen, that everything that I am saying and referring to is not fact. It is not my personal opinion. This is an energetic reading. Don't take anything I say as fact. Use your discernment and form your own opinion, is what I would say. But more into the actual topic that we're getting into today, I want to touch base on the Kendrick Johnson case. So if you're not tuned in, or you're not quite sure what this case is about, Kendrick Johnson was a 17-year-old boy. In 2013, his body was found wrapped inside of a gym mat in Lowndes High School in Valdosta, Georgia. His death was ruled an accident. They claimed that it was the cause of death was positional asphyxia. I allegedly don't believe that. And so I thought that I'd go ahead and do a reading on it, especially to start off. This case has always bothered me. And truthfully, it has plagued me, as well as I'm sure it's plagued, the family and anyone close, as well as that area, and if not the rest of the nation at the time, that this came out. I say all of that to say, there's just a lot of discrepancies in the case. And I truly admire the Johnson family for continuing to pursue the lawsuits, and also pursue justice for their son, because there's definitely some fishy things with this. Before I actually get into the reading itself, I do want to say I have no way of knowing that I am, talking to, or spirits are connected to, or getting proper information. Again, everything that I'm saying is alleged and for entertainment purposes only. This is energetic. These aren't my personal opinions. And these are definitely not facts. Use your discernment. Do your own research to form your own personal opinions on this case. I'd also like to note that this is my first true crime reading where I'm looking into a case, let alone I don't want to say odd case, but odd in the sense that, it seems a little iffy in the way that things were handled in the investigation. But hopefully I'm not loud for you guys. If there's any issues, please let me know. And please make sure that you like and subscribe. I know this intro is a little long, but I just want to throw these disclaimers out there. I don't have my camera on for this video because this is something that's personal and emotional for me. And honestly, this is my first true crime reading. So I just want to focus on the cards interpretation rather than being conscious of the fact that I'm being, looked at. So I thought that for this, especially for my first couple, I'll probably have my camera off until I feel more comfortable and I'm able to more quickly interpret what I'm seeing in the cards in a case like this. But This case specifically, I'm going to break up into multiple parts. This will be the first, of course. I'm going to cover kind of the general, like main portions of the case. And then as I go into the other parts, or if there's anything specific that you guys want me to look into, I'll build more and more, apologize for that. That cut there, my dog was barking, but I'll account for more and more, Okay, sorry about the cut there. My dog decided that he wanted to bark. But as I was saying, I'll kind of break bits and pieces of the case up into different parts, different videos. However, for this first one, I'm going to focus on like the major points in the actual death itself, as well as what led up to it and kind of the involvement of the people and the reality of the situation. And then as I continue on, I can dive in more into kind of like the bits and pieces. But this is just the beginning. And I do have a couple questions here that I thought would be good for this first part. I apologize for all the filler words and the pauses that'll be in this, because again, I'm a little nervous. This is my first one, and my intention here is to help and bring clarity and hopefully push forward, at the very least, a timeline of some sort of justice for him, as well as his family. I have no intention, no ill will, no ill intentions here or ulterior motives. This case is something that I genuinely care about, which is why I chosen it as the first. But I'll be using the Edgar Allan Poe deck, just the regular Rider-Waite deck, and then Whispers of the Unsolved from the Reckoning Co. She's another YouTuber here. You guys really should go check out Ashley. If I remember, I'll link her in my description. But moving on, let's just get straight into it. Yeah. So I'm going to start off with the Edgar Allan Poe. I've already cleansed and done all of my pre-reading rituals, if you will. But I kind of just want to find out, what led to Kendrick going into that gym? What led Kendrick into that gym? Why was Kendrick in the gym to begin with in that footage? 1 second, card fell on the floor. All right, the card that fell on the floor was the Ace of Wands. What led him to being in that gym? One more card, Spirit. Clarifier. Okay, the first thing that I see here with why was Kendrick going into the gym in the first place, 4 of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, and Page of Pentacles tells me, I almost want to say like defending one's honor. Not necessarily honor as in like, they're not soldiers at war or anything, but honor like defending your name. In high school, you have the title, top jock, whatever it may be. This seems like wanting to defend your title or your character. Page of Pentacles too is, I'm sorry if you hear that, my dog is growling, but it's wanting to defend oneself. This is also studying something. Ace of Wands here is passion. I feel like there was definitely a conversation with the Page of Pentacles. There was a conversation that led him here Four of Pentacles holding on to something. It's like someone challenged him. And with the Knight of Wands in reverse, I feel like he didn't think it was that serious. And the Hanged Man being up right here underneath the Page of Pentacles, he didn't see what was actually going on behind the scenes. As you can see in this Page of Pentacles card, there's a lot of smoke. I feel like he didn't know what he was walking into. I definitely see that he did not know what he was walking into. What was the prior conversation? This conversation between him and another student. Why did this lead to some sort of challenge? I don't know why I hear duel almost. That's what it was, but he didn't realize that's what it was. He thought it was just probably like a stupid high school argument, you know, play ball, battle it out. Strength. Number one, power. This was a duel over power. Surrounding a woman. The Ten of Pentacles being in reverse here. Yeah, this is like someone's legacy, someone's name being challenged. Ace of Wands. There was a lot of passion here. I also get with the Ace of Wands, this is shown up now twice, kind of that like someone felt burned. Did someone feel burned by Kendrick? Eight of Pentacles. They felt, whatever it is that they felt burned over, they felt like Kendrick didn't have to do much to get it, whereas they had to work hard. Eight of Pentacles here is being hard work, dedication. The Seven of Pentacles here is being comfortable. This to me reads as like this powerful person, a person who feels like they need to be in power, felt like they worked very hard for something, whereas Kendrick didn't have to do much and he got what they wanted. Six of Cups. This has happened before. There have been confrontations between the people involved in Kendrick before. This has happened before. Those same two cards. And this time he didn't see how serious it was. Oh, apologies, I dropped the card. I'm going to pause. I can't find it. Okay, so the card that fell was the Page of Cups upright. First off, this is very young energy. I feel like Kendrick definitely didn't understand how serious this was. Page of Cups feels like this other person, like they were emotionally invested into this. Kendrick kind of felt like, oh, it's just school stuff. It's just stupid, like material things that don't really matter. It's not that big of a deal. For this other person, it definitely was. I feel like this was a tantrum thrown. Whoever this other person was that was involved definitely had a bruised ego. I feel like this is surrounding a woman. Or I guess at that time it would be a teenage girl. There was a girl involved here. The Magician in reverse. Can I have cards to confirm the Magician of what I'm getting intuitively here? I don't love this. Yeah. Whoever the female is involved here was a ploy. This is like the best way I can think to explain the energy that I'm getting here is an Eight of Wands. My deck is sitting like that, an Eight of Wands is face up here. This is like this Eight of Wands being here up in reverse tells me that this was something slow that built over time. But with the Magician here in reverse, this is like manipulation, deceit, deception, exposed. But with the Moon and the Sun in reverse, this tells me that whoever this feminine figure is was used to manipulate Kendrick, to blind him from what was really going on. Whoever the secondary male is, so this other male that's involved that is not Kendrick, um, used this girl. I feel like, scratch that. I'm just going to tell you what I'm seeing. Again, this is all alleged for entertainment purposes only. This is if this popular girl in school likes man A. Man A is going to be the perpetrator, the main perpetrator. So say man A is involved, the most popular girl in school. And it's everywhere. It's a known thing. People rag on, man A a lot. He brags about it. It's something that he's boastful about. And then here comes Kendrick, talking to her like normal, nothing special. And she begins to like him and show interest in him. And people start to notice. And man A gets upset, gets offended, and his ego is bruised. Because he does not like the fact that it was so easy for someone like Kendrick to do that to him. Although he wasn't doing anything to him intentionally, man A felt like it was a purposeful ego attack. And man A used whoever this girl is to draw him in. And if you look here, even on the moon, this is a duel. There's a little bit of glare, but this is a duel. Is a duel. I'm going to quickly pause and try to fix that glare so that you guys can properly see the cards. Okay. Luckily, I was able to get rid of that glare. Hopefully, it doesn't come back. But now, in the case, there were two main suspects or boys accused of being involved with that, and that would be the Bell brothers. Both Brian Bell and Brandon Bell. Again, all of this is alleged for entertainment purposes only. None of this is fact, nor a personal opinion. This is an energetic reading. But the Bell brothers were the accused, and it is important to note as well that the Bell brothers' father, I do not know his name, I believe worked for the FBI at the time. So it's one thing important to note here. But Spirit, if you could give me a relationship, give me the dynamic between Kendrick and Brian Bell in reference to the situation. Show me Kendrick and Brian and the dynamic in between. This one jumped out at me. Kendrick, Ten of Pentacles in reverse again. Show me Brian. Show me Brian in this situation. Queen of Pentacles, interesting. And then the dynamic between the two. The dynamic between the two. So for Kendrick to show up as the Ten of Pentacles when we are in reverse, when we got that earlier, tells me that Kendrick definitely was the reason or the root cause for someone feeling like their legacy, name, or power was being challenged. With the Queen of Pentacles showing up in reverse, this tells me that Brian Bell, at least in this situation, was being emotionally immature. Again, this is alleged and for entertainment purposes only, but I'm just going to be honest. I see this Queen of Pentacles in reverse as a sissy. Like, you know how some guys will tell other guys, like, oh, you're acting like a girl, like you're being emotional. You're not handling things the way a man would. That's what this reads as here. And with the Knight of Cups being in reverse tells me that there was definitely an emotional detachment from the both of them at some point. But with the Knight of Cups being here in reverse also tells me that there was a lot of immaturity here. Oh, and the Tower in reverse. A lot of immaturity here. The Four of Pentacles showed up for Kendrick when I asked originally why he went into the gym. I feel like this just speaks to that again. Kendrick didn't sense the danger there. He didn't realize that things were really as bad as they going to be, or that this was as serious as it was for Brian than it was for him. With the Ten of Wands here, this is just like, oh, whatever, it's not that big of a deal. I feel like Kendrick let it go. Brian did not. Brian took this very personally. Kendrick was like, oh, let's get this out of the way. This is, the tower being in reverse. This is him agreeing to it. Like, he didn't want it to go any further, but he never thought it would ever go this far. He never thought it would go this far. Kendrick, Eight of Pentacles, Brandon Bell. Show me Brandon Bell. Card also, both of these cards also showed up earlier as well, and then the dynamic in between. High Priestess. Brandon Bell didn't understand why it seemed like Kendrick didn't have to do much or as much to achieve the same level as success. Like, again, basketball. I think I keep going back to that because Kendrick played basketball, and this is also the gym. But, like, for example, say the Bell brothers and Kendrick are on two different teams. So the Bell brothers are on one team, Kendrick's on another. And there's other people on these teams. But nobody can beat the Bell brothers on Kendrick's team except for Kendrick. But Kendrick makes it look like it wasn't hard at all. There's no strain, there's no stress. Half the time of his life, doesn't care. He's in it for the love of the game, if you will. Whereas for these two, it's like, how are you so good at something that it took me forever to get where I am now? And for you, it's effortless. That's what this is. I also get here with the Page of Pentacles in reverse is Brandon definitely had a sense of superiority when it came to Kendrick. He felt like he was better with the High Priestess here. I also get that when Kendrick went into the gym, when he, again, this is allegedly, if and when, allegedly, he saw Brandon Bell, he knew that something was wrong immediately. He realized that this wasn't just a simple game, a simple duel for a title at school, or popularity. He realized that something was very off here. Once Kendrick and the perpetrators were in that gym, what happened? Impulsiveness. I also read the Knight of Wands in reverse as a tantrum. Ace of Swords being in reverse. I feel like Kendrick was confused. He was definitely confused. What else here? What happened when the three of them were in that gym together? The Knight of Swords being in reverse here tells me that he, especially next to the Ace of Swords being in reverse, tells me that Kendrick didn't think that this was what this was. Again, I keep getting this feeling of like, he just had no idea. Like, he genuinely had no idea. He had no idea that this is what this was. And I'd just like to see as well, how many people, Spirit, were involved in Kendrick's death directly? 3 people. 3 of Cups, 3 people. There were 3 people. So the brothers, and who else? Was this a friend? Was this another family member? This was a childhood friend of the Bell brothers. There's three main people that caused Kendrick's death, 2 of them being the brothers, and then there was a childhood friend or a very close family friend involved as well. I don't know why I felt the need to ask that question before I continue. But this is, again, him not knowing what was about to happen. At the beginning of the attack, or the realization, once Kendrick realized that this was dangerous, how did things begin to unfold? I apologize if you hear that. It's my dog. How did things begin to unfold? Okay, one second. Okay, I apologize. Again, once Kendrick began to realize that something was wrong here, what happened? How did things start to unfold? Immediately with the King of Pentacles, this feels like Brandon. I only say this because when I asked about Brian, Brian showed up as Queen of Pentacles in reverse. King of Pentacles feels like Brandon, meaning that he led the whole thing. I'm interested to know which brother is older. Yeah. Eight of Pentacles tells me that this was a plan, that they planned this. Temperance being in reverse, they planned to throw him off balance or to remove him, at the very least, whoever this King of Pentacles is did. How did this continue to unfold? They overpowered him. And there was no going back. The star, it was set in stone. It was too late after that. Who is this King of Pentacles? Which one of the three is this Ten of Wands? Someone who felt like the burden was on them. I am going to quickly look up, and I'm so sorry if my keyboard is loud, but I'm going to look up who was the eldest of the Bell brothers. I apologize for my dog barking at Brandon is older. This is Brandon. I feel like because Brandon was older, he felt like he had to defend his honor. But also his brother. This is definitely him. Eight of Wands. This is a quick decision. This is something that I feel happened very quickly. I get the feeling that Brian did not know that this was the plan. Confirm. The Hermit, no. Brandon knew, allegedly. Allegedly, Brandon knew that this was what he planned to do. He did not fill Brian in on this plan. Two of Wands in reverse. This is tension. This is also the two parties being disconnected. He did not tell or inform Brian that this was something that he planned. Did the third male here, the third perpetrator, know? Magician. I personally feel as though the Magician showing up, I feel like that the third male that was involved here was someone tied more so to Brandon than Brian. Because with the Magician showing up here, this feels like I call on you. Brandon called in whoever this third party person is to help him with this. Whoever this third party is knew to some extent that they were planning to unalive him. However, I just don't feel that Brian knew. Give me the beginning unfolding of this. How did this start? Once Kendrick realized that something was wrong here, how did things unfold? Some of them, I'm not sure if you can see, are a little chewed. Would be because of my puppy. how did things unfold once Kendrick realized that something was wrong here? Oh. With this card here, people moving, if you will. The first thing I think of is the people moving ring. I feel like they surrounded him, low vibrational. He began to feel that things were off, as in Kendrick. He realized that he had been drawn to there and it was a lie. He'd realized that he'd been set up by a woman, by a female here. Not a woman, they were teenagers at the time, but I guess she would be a woman now. But he was drawn into this and lied to by not only them, but a female that they were connected to. Evil demonic tells that it's just their intentions, royalty rather, allegedly would be the Bell family or the three perpetrators at this point. They felt like they were higher than him. They were more powerful than him, more deserving. Warning alarm. He realized at this point that he was being set up and was snake and backstabber. This would be the female. He realized that she backstabbed him. What happened? What led to Kendrick's passing? What did they do to him? I hear that Brian wanted to rough him up. My stomach hurts. I'm not a medium or anything. I do want to mention that. I am still learning. I am primarily, or my strongest is clairaudience. However, sometimes I do feel a couple sensations. That is insane. If you know anything about this case, delays in law enforcement in reverse is crazy. We'll get to that. Oh my God, family. My stomach hurts and my mouth is watering. I'm not going to, but my mouth is watering as though I'm going to throw up and then it goes away. First off, I want to say family here. This is the Bell brothers. This isn't being like, I'm doing this allegedly. As well as the third person here is being like, we're doing this for our family, for our honor, for our name. Deep State here tells me that they were already too into such a low vibrational decision as in setting him up and planning this out. There was no going back. Delays here tells me that he didn't realize in time what was going on, but delays next to law enforcement in reverse tells me that this female knew that what was occurring. She did not alert anyone. This also is, I believe, is quite literal as well, especially with family in Deep State. They have family in deep areas that are connected to law enforcement, and they delayed the investigation or the discovery of him. And as I go to break the deck, I get secret. They hid it. They hid him. I'm going to move on to the other half of the deck because me getting that Kendrick was hidden makes me feel as though he did not die in that mat. Low vibes. What actually caused Kendrick's death? And where was this originally at? Was he moved? I feel like I need to reword that before I start. What caused Kendrick's death? Like they said it was positional asphyxia. What was it actually? Did they beat him up? Did they give him something? Did they hit him with something? What actually happened to him that led to his untimely passing? What happened? My stomach still hurts. I feel like something's up with his stomach. True. Also in reverse, true. There's something significant about his stomach. Fear. He was fearful. Also, hands up. I feel as though he tried to defend himself. Hidden network. Secret weapon. Oh no. The image that I get here when looking at abuse and neglect, this kind of feels like someone like covered his mouth. They silenced him some way. With the fear being here, he was definitely scared. He did try to defend himself, I feel. And false coming out in reverse, as I was saying, that something was making my stomach hurt. Was he kicked in the stomach? Or punched in his stomach? You know how if you get hit really hard on your stomach or in your chest, like it knocks the wind out of you? That's what I get from this. Abuse here would also be a fight. I feel like they beat him up. And maybe one of them was kicking him. And that's why I get the pain in my stomach. With fear here is maybe this also, she's kind of in the fetal position. He may have been laying down in his fetal position, but trying to block himself. Hidden network here tells you about the family's weapon exposed. This is, I feel like, one of, if not both of the brothers, allegedly have lashed out or had some sort of behavioral issues in the past. And because of their connections with the hidden network here, it was covered up. Confirm. Spouse partner. I feel like partner here would be partner in crime. Also, spouse partner could be his parents. Mind control, obey. Yeah, someone with a lot of power has covered this up before. Private property, public property. The mind control card here says the most basic form of mind control is repetition. I feel like that's significant here. I feel like that's something along the line, maybe not this severe, but there's been some sort of legal issue within the family, allegedly before, that was covered up or they got away with. Public property here tells me that everybody knows it's cover up. With mind control and it saying obey, tells me that people are too scared to speak up or to do anything about it. And that's why it's gone on for this long. Confirm. Change of plans. This was always a part of the plan. This always was the plan. Which, if, again, allegedly, if Brandon went into this knowing that Kendrick was not going to walk away, this was always a part of the plan. Calling in the parents, calling in whoever this partner is, and covering this up. And knowing that people are too scared of them to do anything about it, and therefore they would get away with it. This was always a part of the plan. Now, I feel like I need to switch again to the other side of the deck. I want to know, I definitely feel as though he was beaten up. Like he was set up by the Bell brothers over a girl. The girl helped them set him up. He realized too late. Brandon called in another person knowing that he planned on killing him. Brian was not aware of this. It was already too late and they had already dragged him into it. I feel like Brandon felt as though Brian would not have killed him or gone through with it. And so he brought this other person in and executed this plan and had Brian involved, so he had no choice. I also do definitely pick up on racism, especially from Brandon. I do feel it in the other two's energy, but especially from Brandon. Like it was very rampant in him. With that high priestess earlier, that superiority complex there. And I feel as though he was beat up. And that's what led to his death. Was there one specific instance as they beat Kendrick up that led to his death? I do know that there was a second autopsy done by the family, claiming blunt force trauma. Yeah, just low vibrational evil people. Confirm. Okay. He was hit with something. Lies in reverse, truth. low vibrational again, which would be that. Yeah. Was he tied up? Or like someplace where he couldn't move? I would say that the blunt force trauma, again, allegedly, I feel as though he was hit with something. What was he hit with? Had some cars flipped over. What was Kendrick hit with? They were in a gym. Yeah, this wasn't something internal. This was an external issue. It led to his death. That was covered up. This makes me feel, with burial in secret, makes me feel like they may have buried whatever it was that they hit him with, or it was covered up, which I guess in both cases it would be covered up. Again, that trafficking card. I'm sorry, that people moving card dismemberment. It's just like they didn't have a plan. They did things very rushed. Oh. Confirm what I'm thinking. Oh. I feel like they hit him with something that would make sense to be in the gym. And that blow was the one that unalived him. But with this moving card showing back up with dismemberment and no, wrong way, do not enter. If you know anything about this case, you also know that Kendrick's organs were missing. And he had been stuffed with a newspaper. Allegedly, I feel that his organs were harvested and sold. Sad, emotional. I was drawn to the eyes, an organ. Strategy in reverse tells me that this wasn't the original plan, but flight and air travel in the New World Order tells me that they were sold and sent to someone else. New World Order almost feels like whoever bought them needed them, potentially to survive. This was a money thing. I feel like this wasn't a part of the original plan, but I do feel as though his organs were harvested and trafficked, or I'm sorry, sold and moved. Again, allegedly. I do feel like, and I do want to acknowledge this, I feel like my guides are blocking me from the incident itself, other than me getting confirmation that he was hit with something. Because it's just a little too sensitive for me, because I am very, very emotionally attached to this case. But moving on, why did Brian say that he did not see Kendrick that day, although there's footage of them being together? Or walking past each other, rather. Flight, air travel again. I read that as him fleeing. This is him trying to save his own butt. Revenge here is about the female law enforcement in reverse. Is him trying to evade, well, with revenge being here, it's him trying to evade justice, which we know, if they covered it up, allegedly. Aliens. Yeah, there was definitely signs, which would be him on the footage. People know. People are just too scared to say anything. What else do you have to say about the footage, Spirit? Delays. The footage was held on to and tampered with. Delays, as you can see, it's a construction site. the footage was held onto and tampered with before it was given over to law enforcement. It may have even been tampered by law enforcement, considering, yeah, they may have burned tapes, evidence with fire here. Also tells you that someone may have burned it onto a disc. Clean up. Yeah, they cleaned it up. I feel like the fire is destroying evidence. Someone may still have evidence somewhere. As far as the footage. And what happened to the footage as far as like, did the police delete it? Like, what happened there? Snake exposed, low vibrational, treason. Someone in the school helped law enforcement. Treason tells me that someone in the school helped. Legal proceedings showing up tells me that someone in the school helped them tamper with footage because they didn't want to be held accountable as in the school for what happened. Because they knew it was traced back to them, to the school. Ending in paper trail, it would track back to them. Affair and cheating, and they in reverse. They didn't want to get caught with that or have to deal with that with the death of him, but also with the organs. Stranger in reverse. This is something they've done before or something familiar to them. Has there been any other deaths at that high school? Has there been any other deaths at that high school? Whoever this person was that gave the footage over may have been threatened with that stop. They may have been threatened. Yeah, this was avoidable. This entire thing was avoidable. I do wonder, has anyone else passed at that school before? This was odd. Now, I'm going to ask my regular Red 08. How did Kendrick's body end up in that gym mat? Did he die elsewhere and then they put him there? How did he end up in that gym mat the way that he did? There are pictures of his body in that gym mat. Him reaching for the shoes. I mean, the kid was 6 foot something. And if this is something that he regularly did where he tossed his shoes into the mat, which they claimed he did, as big as that boy was, it doesn't make sense for him to reach in and go in that way. Why wouldn't he have yelled if he was stuck or his body weight would knock the mat over? Or why wouldn't he knock over the mat to begin with to get the actual pair of shoes? Because that's not what happened. So how did he end up in the mat? Two of Wands in reverse. How did Kendrick's body end up in the mat? Ace of Cups in reverse. King of Cups. 8 of Pentacles. With Swords in reverse. Chariot. This is the Two of Wands here. Upright tension. It being in reverse is a tense moment ending. Ace of Cups, a tense moment full of hate ending. King of Cups. This is like the perpetrators. Get it together, get it together, get it together. We need to figure out what we're going to do with the 8 of Pentacles here. The 5 of Swords in reverse being here so that we don't get caught. And the Chariot. We can move on and continue to live our lives freely. He was put there. Did Kendrick pass in the gym? Four of Swords in reverse. Did Kendrick pass in the gym? This is being vulnerable. This is being outnumbered in a fight. This can be, of course, words in reverse is like being knocked out or unconscious or not fully there to defend yourself. Queen of Pentacles. I'm being drawn to the money. I feel like he did pass in the gym, but not where we would expect him to, not by the mats. It's like somewhere connected to the gym. Give me a clarification on this. Did Kendrick pass in the gym? So no. I don't think that he passed in the gym. I feel like they built the scene in the gym, which would make sense with the gym mat. Again, allegedly. The Queen of Pentacles, this will be Brian rebuilding his ego. Danger, healing, and cover up. To heal his broken ego, we put Kendrick in danger and covered it up. Frozen preserved. So that what actually happened would never come to light. Frozen preserved to keep things hidden. Meeting, tunnel underground, the devil in reverse. This feels like the harvesters, the murder itself, this is where they combined. Money, being vulnerable, money. They allegedly sold his organs because something with the organs had evidence, which if something happened to his stomach and there was blunt force trauma, or if they kicked him in his stomach, there would be some sort of or I would imagine there would be some sort of internal bruising or bleeding. I wonder if that's why, again, allegedly, that they sold the organs. Confirm or deny. Drama acting, that's real. Allegedly. So yeah. Did he pass in the gym? One card. Here. He passed in the gym inside. He did pass in the gym. He passed in the gym, but somewhere else in the gym. Where? So as I'm asking where, I got an image. And I didn't say anything yet, but abuse, neglect, mouth covered, anger, rage, mouth being open, and then true. This is alleged, but this is a confirmation for me. I feel as though he either passed on or underneath the bleachers, and then they moved him into the gym mat. Confirm. Public property, mind control. I feel like mind control would be me knowing that public property is the bleachers in love confirmation. I feel as though he passed under or on the bleachers, and then they moved him to a gym mat. Plot twist, because that was the plan. This is just evil. Poor boy. Now, now we're going to kind of get into the nitty-gritty of the alleged cover-up. Was this covered up by who and how? Was Kendrick's death covered up by who and how? It was the magician's manipulation. Oh, cards fell on the floor. I'm going to grab those real quick. Give me 1 sec. Okay, 3 cards fell on the floor. This was covered up. His death was covered up. Sorry for the cut there. My dog started barking, but these were the cards that I pulled before that cut. This was them covering up the death so that it doesn't come out. The truth of what happened, aka the fight, doesn't come out, and Ace of Wands being in reverse. Again, this is stopping this from coming to the light. How is this covered up, Spirit? There is a whisper card in here. This would be death again. How was his death covered up? How was it covered up? How was Kendrick's death covered up? How was it covered up, Spirit? Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. This is like the 6 of Pentacles in reverse. Tells me it was either blackmail or someone like, you owe me a favor. The High Priestess being in reverse here tells me that this is in playing with people's judgment, messing with things, altering the scene so that people don't quite actually see things for what it is. This is pulling the wool over people's eyes. The Sun in reverse tells me this is them hiding the actual altercation that led to this. And then the 3 of Swords being here in reverse tells me that this is them preventing healing by hiding the situation. The King of Swords showing up in reverse tells me that this is someone cold and calculated and willing to do whatever it takes to get what they want. That being next to the 5 of Swords in reverse, this is someone being cold and manipulative, doing whatever it takes to make sure that they don't get caught and have to walk away from the luxuries of life. 2 of Pentacles here is being balanced, everyday life, the things that they're used to. Things that they're used to, and them not wanting to have to step away from that. The 3 of Wands here would be the 3 perpetrators. The 8 of Swords here, this is them being trapped. And the Hierophant and Knight of Swords in reverse, they will pay their price. They won't get away with this. I feel as though they will face justice. The 3 of Cups being in reverse too. Sorry for the cut there. My dog was barking again. But the 3 of Cups here in reverse tells me that someone may turn on them. One of the 3 may turn on the other 2, or one may do something that makes them look guilty again. The Page of Pentacles here in reverse tells me that these 3 did not learn their lesson. Knight of Wands tells me that they're still very reckless and impulsive with the things that they do in the world here. This is a cycle for them to do things like this. Yeah, so this tells me that this is something that they do often, or like repeated cycles of this kind of behavior, not necessarily this instance or something as serious as this. The Fool being here, as well as the 7 of Swords, they just have not learned their lesson. Their ego blinds them. with the Six of Wands being here and the Seven of Cups tells me they don't see the reality of things and how bad things will and can get if they continue this behavior, because there's only so much a reputation can do for you. I'm picking up on two things here. Queen of Pentacles here is Brian again, as originally he showed up as the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Queen of Swords feels like Kendrick's mother. Kendrick's mother will not stop going for them, and she hasn't. It's now 13 years later, and she's still, her and her family have still been fighting for justice. This Queen of Swords is his mother fighting for justice. The Queen of Pentacles and the Nine of Wands here in reverse, which is vulnerability, tells me that Brian is the weak link here. Ace of Swords upright, the truth, strength. She's not letting this go, as she shouldn't. The Emperor in reverse, he's going to lose control, and he won't have anywhere to go. With the Chariot here, I had a thought regarding Brian that I want to check on. I'm going to pull on it before I say what it is. Because, yeah, I just feel like it needs to be done that way. Can I have confirmation of what I just thought regarding Brian Bell being the weak link? So half of my deck just fell on the floor. I'm going to pause and pick those up, and I'm only going to read the three that are up here. But I do feel like those cards falling on the floor has a significance, which I will explain all of this in my question and how all of that ties in once I'm back. Okay. I'm back now. I'm going to flip over the ones that landed on the desk. The others I didn't bother looking at. I just went ahead and put them on top of the deck. There actually ended up only being two that fell, so it's these two. And so we can take a peek at those if we feel the need to. But this to me is confirmation for what I was thinking when I got the Chariot in reverse for Brian Bell and him being the weak link again, allegedly. I got that. Brian Bell may unalive himself because of what happened. Three of Wands here tells me that this is something that has been weighing on his mind for a while. And this is him waiting for something. I almost feel like he's waiting for a sign or for something to happen. Justice being upright is facing justice. I feel like he kind of feels like this will make doing something of the sort would make things fair for what happened to Kendrick. Five of Cups being in reverse tells me this is not something he can get over. This is something that has plagued him since it happened. Seven of Pentacles tells me that this is something that he has been considering and is leaning more and more towards. Four of Pentacles in reverse tells me that he may have begun to give away like belongings or money, or, like, say, for example, he was in high school, back in high school, he had a favorite jacket or a favorite pair of shoes or something that he absolutely loved and he refused to give to anyone. And I don't know, recently in the last couple of years or so, or however long, his little cousin asked for it and he gives it up, no problem. Stuff like that, like unusual behavior. And him not really caring about possessions. King of Cups being in reverse is also being overwhelmed with emotions. But Sorry, give me one sec. Let me fix that camera. There we go. I will say with that switching like that, and actually I was gonna cut that out, but I'm gonna leave that because um, my camera taking primary view, I guess you could say, makes me feel like he's only been focused on himself. I feel like he's not considering the other two, like I said before, with the Three of Wands upright, but also the Nine of Swords being here, it tells me he's been dealing with a lot of anxiety, depression. I also feel that he's paranoid. And with the Seven of Swords being in reverse, he's paranoid about being caught, about the consequences. The Ace of Wands, yeah. He's afraid that people are going to find out what happened, that he was the cause of Kendrick's death for something so stupid, and also his father hiding the truth, manipulating the truth. This reads to me as Brian sees no other way out. I feel like he's worked hard to try to move on. I feel like the family is shunned. Still powerful, but shunned. Yeah, he's trapped in this. The King of Pentacles here, I feel represents Kendrick. This is him being like trapped in his head about what happened to him and cutting his journey short. Cutting Kendrick's journey short. This is plaguing him, like a 1,000%. I do allegedly see Brian Bell ending himself, potentially, about this situation. Do any of the three perpetrators regret what they did to Kendrick? Brian? Yes. Brian wishes that he was involved. Brandon? I wouldn't say that Brandon regrets it. Brandon regrets the consequences of it. I feel like it threw a lot of things off kilter for him, and they may have been denied certain opportunities or certain things, or like he may not be getting accepted into certain things as an effect of what it is that happened. So I feel that Brian regrets being involved. He regrets being involved in his classmates unaliving, because the Three of Pentacles also would be them unaliving. But Kendrick, because he's his classmate. But the Tower here for Brandon tells me that he doesn't regret it, but he regrets the aftermath. What about the third party here? Does the third party regret what happened? No, the third party just doesn't want to get caught. Yeah. Third party just doesn't want to get caught. He just wants to keep things under wraps. The Magician in reverse and the Hanged Man. Brandon does not care. He's focused on maintaining his innocence, allegedly. He's also focused on maintaining power here. I feel like Brandon is obsessed with power, and I feel like this is something that he was passed on to him by the father. The Magician in reverse underneath Brian here tells me that Brian almost feels like he could just disappear and never have to deal with this again. Which the anxiety and the depression and the paranoia that I'm picking up, Kendrick may be actually haunting him. Or at the very least, the energy of the situation, which I'll ask on too, but Brian just kind of wants to disappear from it. He wishes he wasn't there. He wishes that he made better decisions. I feel as though Brian does regret his decision or his involvement. Brandon still stands firm in it. He did it for power. He doesn't like the aftermath, but I do feel as though he would do something again. Or, if this hadn't happened then, it would have later. And with the third person, I feel like the third person is kind of detaching themselves. Like, I was just helping a family friend. I wasn't involved. It's not my fault. I just don't want to get caught. I feel like the third person is trying to separate themselves from it mentally, and is kind of playing mental gymnastics like, this isn't my fault. Yeah, the high priestess and the Five of Pentacles being reversed is like, this isn't my problem. This isn't something that I did. Like just finding any and every excuse to take away the blame, take the blame off of him, to get rid of the guilt. What's haunting Brian? Is Kendrick haunting Brian, the situation, or what he did? What's actually haunting Brian here? Is it what he did? Is it Kendrick? What's haunting Brian? It's what he did. He regrets being involved 100%. He feels like he should have known better. He also feels like this decision ruined his life. He feels like if things hadn't gone the way that they would have, if he wasn't so like immature, and hadn't involved specifically his brother, or let his ego get the best of him, I feel as though, it's kind of like he feels like this is something that he should have handled alone, because he feels as though it wouldn't have gotten to that point. So the situation, He wonders what Kendrick's future would have been, what his would have been, if he hadn't have involved anyone else and just let it go. So I'd say the situation, his involvement, and what happened to Kendrick cutting his life short. Is there going to be justice? Is there going to be justice in this plane for Kendrick? Will there be justice? The father, allegedly, or whoever the leader of the cover-up is, which I would imagine to be the father since he's connected to the FBI, or was connected to the FBI at that time. I feel is purposely targeting Kendrick's mother and the family. The father does not want justice for the mother and purposely targets her and purposely tries to shut her down. He's trying to wait her out. He's trying to tire her out with the Ten of Pentacles here in reverse. I also feel as though he's trying to drain them of their finances until there's nothing that they can do anymore. Like as in trying to drain them, like they have nothing else to give to try to find the truth, what actually happened. Although the Seven of Swords showing up at the bottom tells me that the family needs to be careful about the way they continue to try to cover this up, because they will trap themselves. Will there ever be justice? Will there ever be justice? Okay. This is a confirmation for me. Death and King of Wands tells me here that a masculine um, energy, figure, what have you, um, the wands here is going to come forward. Someone's going to come forward about the death, the devil exposed. There's a male here that has more information that may come forward that would bring the King of Swords, the father, the main person who's helping to cover this up, bring their world crashing down. This is something that they've been sleeping on, not quite sure what to do. And I feel like whoever this King of Wands is has been fearful, and then they end up not being able to take it anymore. So they snitch. Nine of Swords here tells me this is something that has plagued them as well. The Two of Pentacles, this is someone restoring balance. And then the the Two of Pentacles, someone restoring balance. Ten of Pentacles, this would be disregarding the family and telling the truth. The King of Swords is exactly what the father does not want, allegedly. And then with the Third of Wands being in reverse here is like, I can't wait anymore. Is this King of Wands, this person coming forward, were they one of the three perpetrators? One of the brothers? Confirm. One of the perpetrators, one of the three people's involved. Ten of Cups. One of the family members. Confirm. Sun upright. Huge yes. Spirit, confirm what I'm thinking. Allegedly, Brian Bell is going to confess or essentially tell on the group. He's going to spill the beans about what actually happened and then unalive himself. Confirm. An offering. This is a slow, deliberate offering, something he's thought about for a long time. Moon in reverse, bringing light to something, exposing something, and then what? This is him exposing, I feel like, the ring, aka what happened to his organs. I feel like this is also the whole story. This is also a completion of a cycle. This is him telling what happened, what led to this, what caused this, the cover up, the whole thing with the organs, justice to make things right, judgment. I feel as this is him unaliving himself. Five of Pentacles, it's being like, I no longer have to carry this burden alone. Five of Cups, I can't take it anymore. Seven or Eight of Pentacles and Ace of Wands. Something that I've been working on, planning to do. I finally have the passion and energy to do it. Interesting. Okay, Spirit, this will be my last questions. And of course, I'm going to, again, this is kind of an overview of the case, trying to kind of give an idea of like what it is that happened. And then I want to continue to make shorter videos, or potentially longer, depending on what it is that I'm covering, and doing deeper dives into each and every little thing, or whatever it is that you guys would like, are curious about, or any information or anything that you've heard about the case, etc. Messages for Kendrick's family. Messages for Kendrick's family. I feel like this is saying, don't stop fighting. The walls, the things that they've done to cover this up will come crumbling down. The truth will be revealed. The Queen and King of Wands feels like this is directed towards Kendrick's parents. Kind of acknowledging, like, I know you're tired of fighting. I know you're tired of not having any justice, but it will come. Keep fighting. Ace of Pentacles, yeah. There's an opportunity for healing. They can't focus on the things that are going wrong. They have to focus on continuing to try to find any and every avenue to getting justice for him, because one will open up and it'll seem as though it came up out of the blue. Three of Swords here also on top of the Tower and King of Wands in reverse. I don't know if Kendrick's father has cardiovascular or any type of heart issues. I'm picking up on that. Or like something like high blood pressure, like if he gets too worked up, he could potentially have a heart attack. I could be off there. Again, this is alleged. Everything in this video is alleged for entertainment purposes only, but I am picking that up a little bit here. But also like heartbreak scene, like with the Tower, seems like everything is crashing down, everything keeps toppling, and then the exact opportunity that they need for justice to come up will land in their laps eventually. Queen of Swords, this is about his mother. I feel like this is her using her emotions and her, the love for her son to keep her going. That's fueling her. The Chariot. There's definitely people trying to block her. Kendrick's mother, there's definitely people trying to block her and to stop her from finding the truth. It's not going to work. The Emperor would be the father. The Three of Cups will be the perpetrator here, and the Nine of Cups, they're not going to get what they want, which is to keep this hidden. Because his parents are not going to let this go, especially his mother. And it's only a matter of time before she and everyone else sees what actually happened. If she continues to fight. It's slow, it's steady, but something will fall in their lap. Ace of Cups. Because although his mother is disappointed and upset and hurt about what it is that happened, she has so much love for him and so much passion for him, and vice versa, that I feel as though for her, it doesn't matter how long she has to wait, how long she has to fight, she won't stop, and she shouldn't. If she continues to fight, she will get justice. The Magician in reverse, Ten of Cups in reverse in the World. Yeah, the manipulative family and the manipulation that's being placed on the Johnson family will come to an end. Justice will be served. And the devil will be exposed. Confirmation. Because of Brian, allegedly. Last card to wrap this up. The Bell family will fall. Confirm. Because they've been unknowingly working towards that. And they're so, frankly, delusional that it's going to hit them when they least expect it. But that concludes the very first part of the Kendrick Johnson case reading. Again, everything that I said in this video is not fact. This is an energetic reading. Nothing in here is personal opinion. None of it is fact. Everything that I have said is alleged and for entertainment purposes only. Don't take anything that I've said as fact. Do your own research. Come up with your own personal opinions. Take everything that I've said in this video and all of my videos for that matter, because everything I say is alleged and for entertainment purposes only, with a grain of salt. And please make sure that you form your own opinions, do your own research, and find out what you think about it. Because I don't know what I'm talking about, guys. But I apologize if this was a little bit all over the place. Again, I kind of just wanted to do like an overview of the case itself. And then as I continue to create more and more parts and dive more and more into the case, I will narrow down the scope of what it is that I'm looking into and really zero and focus in on certain points and bits and pieces of the case. But again, this was just an overview. I plan to make many more parts to this, as many as I see fit. But again, this is just part one. But nonetheless, I want to say thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end. I really, really appreciate it. Also really appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe. I do have a lot of content plans that I plan to film and roll out here soon. But subscribing, liking, and commenting really does mean a lot to me. It really drives up my engagement. It brings more people who like the kind of stuff that you like to my channel to check out my videos. Again, my intention here is to help. I have no ill will, no ill intentions, no ulterior motives here. This case is something that means a lot to me. I've followed Kendrick's mother on social media for some time now, and I track, active updates of the case. But as for this reading specifically, thank you again so much for watching, you guys. Hopefully you guys will subscribe and engage with the content. And then if you have any other ideas or requests about this case or others or other topics that you'd like for me to do a reading on, please, 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 please leave it in the comments down below, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. Outside of that, thank you so much for watching Berry Bunch, and I hope all of you have a good day, night, or afternoon, wherever it is that you are. Stay blessed. Bye.